On the show to talk about charitable work that you've done. Some of the other companies have as well. One of the ideas that's been floated out there is, sure, if you need this money, let's say Amazon's cut is $20 million of the tax, let Amazon insert that into the affordability and homeless crisis itself, as opposed to handing it over to the city and having some of it caught up in red tape and bureaucracy. So I had the councilwoman on earlier this morning, and I asked her if she would be okay with that idea. Here's what she had to say.
I do not agree with the businesses who say, just give us a tax write-off, we will do charity. Look, this problem is not going to be solved by charity, and I certainly do not stand with businesses who say philanthropy, but in the name of philanthropy, they're looking for a tax write-off.
Now, I don't know if you agree with the idea of giving a tax write-off, but what do you make of that answer?
I think it's tough. I think it's tough. I think one of the other kind of collateral damages of this tax could be that people it comes out of their philanthropy budget. It is a game of numbers, so it has to come out of somewhere. So it either has to go pass along to your customers, it has to come out of your profits if you have any, or it has to come out of a different pocket, whether it's your labor pool or in this case, I worry less about those things and more about it coming out of people's philanthropy budget, because this is a tax for philanthropy.
What do you say to one of the arguments the councilwoman made, and the arguments people on the other side are going to make, is that the business community isn't doing enough to offset, and particularly Amazon, which I think we can all agree that Amazon does play a role in the affordability crisis that we're facing,
for sure,
right?
No doubt.
For sure.
No doubt.
So what do you say to people who say because of that, big business needs to cough up more money, they're not doing enough?
I would say that out of all the cities out there in the United States, I think we should be doing less vilifying of businesses and more encouraging other people in other cities in the country to operate their business how Seattle businesses operate. Seattle is a very philanthropic city, and it's one of those things. I'm not sure if people appreciate as much or recognize that we're doing so much more than most other cities. And it's not about saying business has to do more or they have to pay more. I think the business community, if there was an organized plan, they would.
Mm-hmm.
I wholeheartedly believe that. But I just don't like the political discourse of there's the city officials and the business, and they're just totally against each other. I've lived in Seattle for a long time, and I've never seen this.
You could work together to accomplish a lot more than you can yelling at each other.
Totally. That's my point.
Quickly, Ethan, take a live look here at this rally that's happening, or city council meeting. We're going to hear public testimony on this. We're expecting a vote as early as Monday. What would you say if you were standing in front of that microphone this morning, real quickly?
I would say, hey, you guys have obviously seen and heard a lot of feedback about how they don't think this is a great idea. I think right now is a great opportunity for city and business to get together and say, okay, fine. If you guys don't want this, tell us what we can do with you. I think that would make a lot of sense. I would say, hey, let's all sit down. I've tried multiple times to sit down with city council members, and it's and my response, the response I've always gotten has been, show up to one of the community meetings, and I'm like, okay, well that's great, go there and then have a 30-second window to make a statement that, and I'll see. They don't necessarily listen to them because they're just one after another statement. I would like to get some invested members of the community to get together and have serious sit-down meetings. And let's really get together and address some problems we have, because I want to solve them as much as anybody. And I'm happy to write checks to do it.
And actually be listened to. It's one thing to just sit there while people speak. It's another thing to actually listen to them.
Right, and actually work on solving problems.
Yeah, Chef Ethan Stowell, we appreciate your time. And as you said, you're willing to write the check. So at some point, you
totally
might have
willing to write the check,
check,
but we want a plan.
Problem.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for
you.
being here. We're going to get a check of weather.